how is it going? This is a brand new meatball bowl, handcrafted, I think, straight from two dogs and a bottle of whiskey. This is a person that watches the show just like you, and hey, it's National Meatball Day. This has already been given to Meatball, but Meatball, happy Meatball Day. Here you go. There's no treats in it, I'm sorry. But we can fill his treat bowl if you guys are ready to talk about whether or not this is the start of the mother of all short squeezes. Quite possibly. We're going to cover this from a beginner's point of view. If you guys aren't aware of how this channel works, my name is Andrew. We talk about finances here. We talk about making passive income. We talk about making 6 figures in 6 months. And today we're going to talk about a very important indicator because, as you know, data is king. Let's get started. So, is this the exact start of the mother of all short squeezes? Quite possibly. Dear fellow apes, they've recently come across this post and felt like there was some crucial info to add. They're not trying to disrespect this other user, but they have a strong suspicion that they want you to have all the info too. Remember, this is not financial advice. There is no financial advice on this channel. My name is Andrew Mo, but I am a data scientist first and an entertainer zeroth and a financial advisor never. So let's start with what the TTM squeeze indicator is, and most importantly, what the TTM squeeze indicator is not, because they feel there's some confusion with squeezing being the indicator name and short squeeze. With the TTM squeeze indicator was made by John Carter, a popular day trader and really good author. If you have time, they recommend checking out their book, blah, blah, blah. What is the TTM squeeze indicator? It is a combination of two other famous indicators, Keltner channel and Bollinger Bands. Keltner channel are exponential moving averages combined with plus or minus 2 average true range of stocks price and looks something like this. So it's basically like a moving line chart with a confidence interval. Bollinger Bands are a simple moving average combined with plus or minus 2 standard deviations around the moving average and look like this. Now, if you guys seen the channel before, you guys know that we love using simple and moving averages. That's the blue line when I do a technical analysis, and we love using exponential moving average as well, which is the purple line. Both of these are great uses of understanding how much momentum a stock has. One, which would be the simple moving average, has a micro view of the momentum, and the exponential moving average has a macro view of the momentum, but both of which are great indicators but cannot be taken in a vacuum. When overlaying these two, we find that most of the time the Bollinger Bands are outside the Keltner channels. This indicates typical price movement in either direction. What makes this interesting is that what happens when the Bollinger Bands have squeezed inside the Keltner channels. Just imagine one of these big chunky line graphs moving inside another one. This period in a stock's price is a low volatility period that's typically followed by an explosive price movement. Let's just make sure that this is highlighted so that you guys fully understand what is happening here. What the TTM squeeze indicator does is simply make it easier to follow when the Bollinger Bands are inside the Keltner channels. These periods could occur in the red dots. Green dots are when the Bollinger Bands are outside the Keltner channels. With this in mind, take a look at the squeeze that occurred in Tesla. We have some crayon drawings here. We have in red the squeeze right there, and then in green the explosive movement. And what we have down here are the indicators that we talked about earlier. So as you can see, there's a period of low volatility, this red part, immediately following when the dots go from red to green is an explosive price movement to the upside. Please note that most price movements occur with long-term trend of the stock. Tesla had been growing, and this period of low volatility gave traders a period to place their bets on an explosive squeeze to the upside. Okay, so now we have an idea of how it has worked in the past. Let us see some questions and answers that you probably have in your heads, which is like, what is the TTM in squeeze indicator not? It is absolutely no correlation to a short squeeze. This is extremely important to recognize, and I feel like some members might find it confusing as they contain the same word. The squeeze in TTM squeeze simply refers to a squeeze in volatility that squeezes the price in a strong movement in one direction or another. This is important. This is not the same as the squeezes we talked about, not a gamma squeeze, not a short squeeze. This is not the same kind of squeeze. It is a great tool to use when looking for entry points into positions, and they highly recommend that you add it to your arsenal once you've unlocked the crayons option. With this new information that the TTM squeeze and the GME short squeeze have nothing in common, they would like to add their thoughts on using the TTM squeeze indicator for GME. Usually, the TTM squeeze indicator is best used on large time scales. In fact, John Carter's entire use for the TTM squeeze indicator is for swing trading positions that he can take over a period of days or weeks. Here is the very simple explanation. In periods of low volatility that last minutes, for example, using a 5-minute day trading chart, the explosive price movement will not be as great as a period of low volatility that has lasted for days or weeks. This makes sense. 5-minute chart is a 5-minute chart squeeze equals smaller price movement potential. Daily and up chart squeeze equals greater price movement potential. This is just talking about the range of which you are looking at the chart itself. So daily, 5 minutes, the smaller the increment, the more granular the data looks like. What's up, Rich Bulldog? Thank you. With this in mind, I will show GME's daily chart with a TTM squeeze indicator. Here it is. So this is what we're looking at with GME's daily chart. Remember, daily is more bullish, is more indicative of greater price movement potential than the more granular levels. So as you can see, GME has not been a substantial period of low volatility since around mid-July. Right, so we did see a brief period at the very end of October where the stock was in a TTM squeeze. If we were trading GME then, this would be my entry point. Since then, however, we have not been in a period of low volatility that has the potential to swing highly to either side. And actually, I do want you guys to see that Meatball is still here. He's still taking a nap, and that way I can also show you the full chart and read this too. So since then, however, we have been in a period of low volatility that has potential to swing highly to either side. How does this make sense, you ask? It's because this isn't a low to high volatility trade. While it's true GME's volatility is extremely high, this is not the reason for the trade. The reason is because I like the stock. Therefore, I feel it is unfair to push hope of a gamma squeeze or short squeeze onto a volatility indicator. Okay, now we understand exactly what this is even used for. Not all hope is lost, mind you. Take a look at the green line on the picture. Now, I know, let's look at this picture. Now, I know I haven't mentioned the cyan, dark blue, and red, yellow lines, so let me briefly explain. These lines measure momentum of the price. Cyan is explosive move towards the upside, positive momentum increasing. Dark blue is explosive move beginning to slow, positive momentum decreasing. We see it here at the very end of very hard to see. Oh, that's the week of February 4th. Red, explosive move towards the downside, negative momentum increasing, and yellow is explosive move beginning to slow, negative momentum decreasing, and we see a lot of that in the recent days. So why is this important? It's important because some of the largest price movements occur in yellow turning to cyan regions and dark blue turning to red. John Carter, the creator of the TTM squeeze indicator, points this out in his book. So let's take another look at the GME daily chart with the TTM squeeze study. As you can see, the price is currently in one of those yellow to cyan momentum movements, and the price level of GME is affirming this. So now that leaves us with a few questions. Probably you have some more questions, so let's read these questions. How explosive is this movement? Typically, movements of the TTM squeeze indicator will last 8 bars on average, but could be shorter or longer. So now the color has shifted to cyan for 2 days. They usually expect to see 6 more cyan days, price continuing to rise, and volatility movement continuing to increase. As you can see from earlier gamma squeeze a few weeks ago, the momentum now is a lot greater than it was then. This was a very good sign, especially if you do momentum trading often. So can this trigger a gamma squeeze and eventual short squeeze? They are not a financial advisor, so they take it with a grain of salt, but in their opinion, absolutely. Okay, dangerous. A strong price movement to the upside will only further increase the insane number of in-the-money calls that could trigger a gamma squeeze much larger than the one we saw a few weeks ago. If this is the case and we see extremely high and sustained price levels, this could be the starting point for the short squeeze as hedge funds begin to receive margin calls. I think the more important part of this is that we are covering the fact that he says he is not a financial advisor. Shouldn't be focusing on absolutely. Okay. Overall, they have never been more bullish on the stock. 100K is not a meme. 500K is not a meme. Keep holding strong apes. They have a strong feeling that, in fact, this is the start of the mother of all short squeezes. A huge shout out to this user for the DD on the TTM squeeze indicator, and they hope they will support this message and possibly poke any holes in the analysis. Lastly, they would strongly check out this actual person's book on Master the Trade, as it contains an extremely powerful indicators and setups like the one I've just showed you. Well, if I can remember, I'm going to add that book as an Amazon Amazon link, affiliate link down below. Too long didn't read. The TTM squeeze indicator has nothing to do with this short squeeze, everything to do with volatility. We are, however, seeing a price movement backed by this indicator that could lead to a sustained amount of high price levels and volatility that could trigger a gamma squeeze, an eventual mother of all short squeezes. We've talked a lot about gamma squeezes leading into a booster rocket of short squeezes in the past, and we've also talked very extensively about exactly indicators and how data is king. So this Reddit user, as always, should be taken with a huge bucket of salt. First, they say that has nothing to do with these short squeezes, but it has become the indicator that could indicate the start of the mother of all short squeezes. Well, what do you guys think? I want to hear in the comments below. Is this message going to age well? Is this going to be able to give the playbook out to the hedge funds and institutions who are now grinding at their teeth, being incredibly afraid of exactly what's going to come forward and how exactly they're going to have to deal with the mother of all short squeezes? If at any point you don't understand exactly what gamma is, what short squeezes are, what is even a short, I have the videos on the channel for you. Go ahead and check out some of the playlists below, especially the GameStop, Can't Stop, Won't Stop GameStop playlist that tells you everything about GME, and AMC, All You Need to Know, which tells you everything about AMC. As always, I want to update the end credits because I have amazing supporters every step along the way. Meatball the Professor tier supporters over here, and Meatball the Space Legend tiers over here. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, and I will see you guys on the moon. Mo Mafia, Mo Monkeys, and Moon Platoon. I'll check you guys later.